All right, it's time to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, happyhippo.com. So if you guys haven't checked this out, you got to go to happyhippo.com because they have some of the highest quality kratom products that I've ever come across. And if you guys aren't familiar with what kratom is, it's an herbal substance that has many different uses, everything from a balanced mind to energy. It can help you relax. And my wife and I, over the last couple of weeks, have tried out some of their products. And I have to say, it has improved her sleep specifically. She's very anxious and her mind runs at night, and it has helped her fall asleep and stay asleep. She actually was using one of the powders that comes in a pouch from Happy Hippo and just dropped it into her water, and off she went, and she was just she was very happy. Let me just put it that way. And so myself, during the workday, if you guys didn't know, I have a big boy job. I work in contract management, and I need that balance. I need the energy during the day, and they have something called Hyper Hippo and an energy shot. Those energy shots come in those little tiny bottles. You guys are familiar with it from other brands that use that type of packaging, but there's nothing like this, all right? This energy shot, I take it, easy to take, and within minutes, I feel the effects. There's no massive crash after I take it either, which is a huge deal, right? How many energy drinks have you taken and coffee have you drank throughout the day that just leads to the massive crash? Well, this doesn't, and it's an all-natural herb. And I'm telling you right now, it will help you get through your day. It can help you relax, depending on the type of product you're looking for. Happy Hippo delivers. And guess what? Right now, if you have an order of 200 or more, you can get free next day FedEx shipping. And also their stuff tastes great. So check out happyhippo.com. Support the WWE podcast and Happy Hippo. And do yourself a favor as well, guys. I'm telling you right now, if it can help my wife go to sleep, for somebody as anxious as she is and as somebody that needs as much energy as I do during the day to do this podcast and to do my job during the day. And right now, you can save 15% on your entire order by using promo code WWE15. That's right, WWE15 will get you 15% off of your entire order. And starting August 28th, they are having their largest sale of the year on their Hyper Hippo product, 40% off. So you'll definitely want to check them out then. But anytime you can use WWE15 as your promo code to get 15% off your entire order. Check out happyhippo.com, whether you're trying to relax or whether you need energy or balance during the day. Happyhippo.com.
This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is the one that everybody wants, me. Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. It is the 10th of October, 2023. We have a lot to get to on this Monday Night Raw review, and we're going to get to that in a moment. But, first, I just want to acknowledge what the hell's going on in Israel. Not going to spend a lot of time on it. This is not what this podcast is for, but I will say that it's really hard to put into words what the hell's going on there. And I would not. Here's what I would not do. Okay, I would not, for your own mental health, and so that you can't unsee something. Don't search out the videos that are being put out there. Okay, from what the group over there, not going to mention it, but we all know who they are, that what they're doing to people there, I would not search it out. Okay, it is the most just horrific things you can imagine in this world, and I would really just recommend that you don't search it out, because curiosity will get the best of you, but then you won't be able to unsee the things that are going on. So my heart and my prayers go out to everyone who's affected, not just, of course, there directly, but the families that are here. And, well, I say here, thinking that everyone's in the United States, but I know I have many international listeners. And actually, we have a listener that calls in once in a while, Sharon. So I hope, if you're listening, buddy, I hope you're doing okay. I thought about that, and I hope you're doing well and staying safe over there, and you're not directly where things are going to hell. So Sharon and anybody else over there that's listening, just do what you need to stay safe. And everyone knows somebody or knows someone that knows someone that's over there, there's also that, right? So my thoughts are with you, and it's freaking crazy, man. It's insane. But hey, it's time to talk about the things that don't matter as much but keep us sane, and that is the world of pro wrestling. So, but if you haven't joined us before, thank you. I know we got some new listeners out there, and I appreciate all of your support, all of your time to give us a try. I really do appreciate it, and I'm really appreciative of course, the patrons who support the show and enjoy everything ad-free. You can go ad-free at patreon.com/WWE podcast is for as little as $1 a month, and on Apple Podcasts as well, or wwepodcast.com. So let's talk Monday Night Raw that emanated on October 10th. And hey, this is a show that started to mention Crown Jewel. It even set up our World Heavyweight Championship match for Crown Jewel. And that's a nice change from them waiting until the last second to set up that championship match. And it is Drew McIntyre versus Seth Rollins. And there was no heel turn by Drew or official heel turn yet. He continues to just do his own thing and not stick his nose where it doesn't belong. And it's refreshing. And Drew is still kind of he's a tweener right now. I think he's in transition. Okay. He's in transition. We still haven't seen that full turn yet from Drew. And I think it's coming. You'd think at the event of Crown Jewel, but here's the weird part, right? Like, Drew is scheduled to face Seth for the title at Crown Jewel, which is in 4 weeks or so. But also, heavily rumored and trending towards likely is CM Punk coming back at Survivor Series. And if he does he target Seth? So is Seth going to have a rematch with Drew, and then, CM Punk screws Seth and Drew becomes champion? I don't know. I mean, we're getting, a month and a half ahead of ourselves, but I don't know how long this program with Drew is going to last. And ultimately it could lead to Drew McIntyre taking the belt. I wouldn't hate that. And somebody brought it up. I don't know if it was on Twitter, where it was, whoever it was that brought it up. I hate to anonymously give you credit, but I don't know who the source was, where they said Seth has a very unique relationship with the fans, where when he's not World Heavyweight Champion, fans are complaining that he's not champion. And then when he becomes champion, the fans don't want him to be champion anymore. And I think that's true for actually a lot of champions in WWE. Not everyone, but I also think that there's two things going on. One, Seth has a heel personality that just is difficult to mask, even through his wacky, zany, type of personality that he's found himself now. I don't even know how to describe Seth's character. But also, it's number two, babyfaces in chase mode are more entertaining than the actual championship run at times. So the chase mode and the eventual victory and finishing the journey, I won't say story, we'll get to that. But that's usually where the money is the babyface in chase mode. So there's a couple things going on there, but Seth uniquely does have this problem. I would tend to agree with that a little bit. Seth won the championship, what was it, back in mid-May, late May. And so it's been a good nearly 5 months since he's been champion. It feels like longer, doesn't it? And I think he's had a good run thus far, albeit as transparently vomit-inducing as it can be, of displaying WWE's version of what they feel a babyface champion should be, of defending it everywhere, anytime, against anyone, injured or not. I have gone over that so many times, but it's just so vomit-inducing when they just push that out as if we're all supposed to admire it instead of looking at it as mostly stupidity, and actually disrespecting the belt. I would say it actually, in a lot of ways, that I don't know if it's an ideology, but that belief system of what their view of a babyface is, I think does and has the opposite effect of what they intend it to have when they say that that person will be a fighting champion and anyone can get a championship match at any time. And number one, that means that everyone's qualified to fight you for the belt. Okay. And number two, you're going to allow anyone to challenge for that championship that you fought so hard for, just if they just simply ask. And also, you're being foolish if you compete knowingly hurt in storyline. It's just so, and also the more championship matches you have, the less it means. So there's just so many things working against it, but they feel, number one, maybe they don't even look at those things and care about those things I just mentioned or know they exist. Or number two, they do and don't care and feel that the quote unquote benefit of having a fighting champion that never looks like he's a coward, which I guess is what they're going for, it outweighs any of the negatives that I just laid out there. So there are there are some different belief systems out there, and I do not subscribe to the belief that one needs to be a fighting champion all the time. Be smart. You can look tough without looking like a coward. And they haven't figured out how to thread that needle yet. So nonetheless, I digress. So let's talk specifically about Monday Night Raw and how the show opened here. And the one story that actually is making its rounds is The Rock apologizing for, him and Oprah Winfrey asking, this is popping up on my newsfeed before Raw, where The Rock, remember, was asking for people to donate to the Maui Fund when the entire Hawaii Islands were on fire. And he was asking people to donate. Like the two wealthiest people, two of the most wealthy people in the world were asking people that live paycheck to paycheck to donate their money to help the wildfire situation in Maui and donate. And it just came across in bad taste. And The Rock said he'll quote unquote be better. There's a awful phrase for you, overused phrase today, but the self-awareness on that promo was lacking there, and asking people for money. It's kind of like, you guys are ultra wealthy. Y'all put in money. The amount of money you could put in would be triple what all of us collectively would probably put in, right? So anyway, all right. So Raw opened with a recap of Fastlane, and then Rollins came in and was introduced by Mike Rome, who was filling in for Samantha Irvin, which actually made me a little bit sad. Samantha Irvin is an unsung hero on Monday Night Raw. I love everything about what she does. I love how she introduces talent. She makes it feel important. She's got a big time voice. Just love her style. So Mike Rome, no disrespect to Mike Rome, but Samantha Irvin has really, really, I think, found a home in WWE. But so Rollins said adrenaline's a powerful thing, and said that Shinsuke Nakamura took him to his limit. There's another overused phrase. He said there were times where during that match he didn't know if he could get back up or keep Nakamura down, but he did. And he said he felt like he was on top of the world after he won the match, and he went backstage afterward and he was reminded that his back is still broken once the adrenaline wore off. And he said that being world champion is one of the great honors of his career. If his back was, by the way, that broken, as I said in my show last night, if your back was that, it was Sunday, I don't know. If your back was that broken and quote unquote hanging on by a thread, then it would have been snapped based on what happened on Saturday night at Fastlane. So, but anyway, splitting hairs here. So he paused and a thank you Rollins chant broke out, and he said, "I want you to know I'm just getting started, baby." And he said he wanted to sing, dance, and throw back a few cold ones instead of fighting for his life for one Monday Night Raw. And that actually drew boos from the crowd, by the way, which I understand why. You came to watch Seth Rollins fight, and no one cares what you did the night before. It's what are you doing for me right now? I totally get that. But Drew came out, and he said Rollins asked him, "You're not out here to party, are you?" And McIntyre shook his head, and he said, "You want a world title match, don't you?" And McIntyre shook his head, yes. And then he spoke again about being a fighting champion. I think I vomited right after he said that. And then McIntyre told Rollins that the party's still on. He said that others might jump him from behind, but he was looking him in the eye and telling him he wants a title shot. But he said he wanted Rollins at close to 100%, as close as he could be, and suggested they have the match at Crown Jewel. And he accepted, and McIntyre said he had business to take care of in the back. He left. By the way, this was in Omaha. And he said if anyone sees him, they should buy him a pint and a shot. I don't. By the way, guys, or to Drew specifically, I'm fairly sure most places won't say. Or I know that there are bars, a good amount of them, that serve beer by the pint, but it's more common that they sell it by the bottle, okay, or draft. We're not in Scotland. We're not in Ireland, all right? So your unit of measure seems a bit off, okay? I understand what he's saying. A pint. No, we don't sell it typically by the pint here, okay? It's like me going over into Ireland. I don't think they sell beer cold. And if you ask for ice, they don't understand why in your water. It's a thing, I guess. Those of you overseas that are listening, I think you can confirm this. Isn't beer served warm, specifically in Germany? And also, if you ask for ice water, they don't give you ice, or it's not a thing to put ice in any kind of drink. I don't know. I remember Jim Ross talking about that when he was on an overseas tour. But all right, anyway, Damian Priest attacked Rollins from behind, and then he looked back at the ring. McIntyre looked back at the ring and watched Priest chokeslam Rollins. And Dom came out with the Money in the Bank briefcase. McIntyre stopped him. And then McIntyre gave Dom a Glasgow kiss and threw the briefcase at the big screen. He chucked that thing. And Rollins came back and cleared Priest from the ring. Kofi Kingston was backstage warming up while Xavier Woods encouraged him. Which, by the way, has Xavier just turned into the sponsor spokesman during PLEs? Does he ever do anything significant anymore? And look, I'm not a fan of the New Day in any fashion when it comes to personality or character, but Xavier Woods has pretty much just been relegated to who's the sponsor of the show and on Saturday it was Pizza Hut. Let me make sure that WWE finds a guy to do it, and it seems to be Woods lately. All righty, let's see. Ivar versus Kofi Kingston in a Viking rules match. This was enjoyable. This was a match that I did not think I would like. Ivar has come into his own as a single star. Now, when Eric comes back and he's injured and he returns from injury, they will likely resume as a tag team. And I think they should. The tag team division needs real tag teams, and the Viking Raiders are a real tag team, unlike the current tag team champions. So this was a lot of fun. The Viking rules match, essentially no DQ or street fight or whatever you want to call it. It's a no DQ match. They had a lot of table spots. Ivar performed a twisting power slam, a sit-down power bomb. Kingston cut him off by hitting him with one of the shields, and Valhalla showed up and drove Kingston from the broadcast table and Xavier Woods ran out. Valhalla charged Woods, who ducked, causing her to tumble over the barricade, and then Ivar took out Woods with a crossbody. And then in the ring, Kingston went for trouble in paradise, but Ivar stuffed it and slammed Kingston through the table that was set up in the corner, and then hit the moonsault that led to the pinfall. This was a lot of fun in a match that I did not expect to have a lot of fun in. It went about 11 minutes and 10 seconds, and I didn't. These are kind of like two guys that you look at and go, well, it's a filler match, and to some degree it is, but they work very well together. And you know, the crowd was brought into it. Ivar with his moonsault is crazy given his size. I loved the violence in this match. It wasn't too much. It was just what this should have been. The using the shields as a weapon, I've been a fan of since they brought them in. The only critique, and you guys know where I'm going, it's not even Kofi Kingston, who's always brilliant in the ring. It's Valhalla. And once again, the magical, impenetrable force of being a woman comes to save the day. Because Woods cannot help his partner other than just going, what are you doing? Right? So outside of verbal assault, the men have to just stand there and take it. Now, the way they got around this was Valhalla throwing herself over the barricade after trying to attack Woods. But that's as far as I think they'll go. And it's infuriating every week. I don't even care if it's Woods and Xavier, or I'm sorry, Xavier and Kofi. I don't care who it is. And I've had very few of you comment on this or agree with me or not, but it continues to happen, so I'm going to continue to say it. It's ridiculous the men can't retaliate. It's ridiculous. And then they get frozen in their tracks. Like Xavier Woods, who took on Bobby Lashley, a year ago and nearly won. And it was like a Hell in a Cell match or something on Raw. Remember that? I remember that. And nearly won. And now he's suddenly scared by Valhalla, Sarah Logan, who is 6 inches shorter than her and about 80 pounds lighter. All of a sudden, he's scared of her because she makes strange faces and screams. Are you kidding? I'm totally over this. I know why they don't do this, but it still is. It makes everyone look stupid. All right. Outside of that, though, as far as Kofi and Ivar go, those two, I mean, that was a joy. It was a joy to watch. All right. I'm going to take a pause for the sponsor of today's episode, which is Happy Hippo. And I will be right back after that and continue with more Monday Night Raw. All right, it's time to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, happyhippo.com. So if you guys haven't checked this out, you got to go to happyhippo.com because they have some of the highest quality kratom products that I've ever come across. And if you guys aren't familiar with what kratom is, it's an herbal substance that has many different uses, everything from a balanced mind to energy. It can help you relax. And my wife and I, over the last couple of weeks, have tried out some of their products. And I have to say, it has improved her sleep specifically. She's very anxious and her mind runs at night, and it has helped her fall asleep and stay asleep. She actually was using one of the powders that comes in a pouch from Happy Hippo and just dropped it into her water, and off she went, and she was just she was very happy. Let me just put it that way. And so myself, during the workday, if you guys didn't know, I have a big boy job. I work in contract management, and I need that balance. I need the energy during the day, and they have something called Hyper Hippo and an energy shot. Those energy shots come in those little tiny bottles. You guys are familiar with it from other brands that use that type of packaging, but there's nothing like this, all right? This energy shot, I take it, easy to take, and within minutes, I feel the effects. There's no massive crash after I take it either, which is a huge deal, right? How many energy drinks have you taken and coffee have you drank throughout the day that just leads to the massive crash? Well, this doesn't, and it's an all-natural herb. And I'm telling you right now, it will help you get through your day. It can help you relax, depending on the type of product you're looking for. Happy Hippo delivers. And guess what? Right now, if you have an order of 200 or more, you can get free next day FedEx shipping. And also their stuff tastes great. So check out happyhippo.com. Support the WWE podcast and Happy Hippo. And do yourself a favor as well, guys. I'm telling you right now, if it can help my wife go to sleep, for somebody as anxious as she is and as somebody that needs as much energy as I do during the day to do this podcast and to do my job during the day. And right now, you can save 15% on your entire order by using promo code WWE15. That's right, WWE15 will get you 15% off of your entire order. And starting August 28th, they are having their largest sale of the year on their Hyper Hippo product, 40% off. So you'll definitely want to check them out then. But anytime you can use WWE15 as your promo code to get 15% off your entire order. Check out happyhippo.com, whether you're trying to relax or whether you need energy or balance during the day. Happyhippo.com. All right, let's keep rolling. The next segment here, Shinsuke Nakamura was interviewed by Byron Saxton, and he wasn't interested in answering any of the questions. And then Ricochet showed up and attacked Nakamura, and that was that. And, I'm thinking at this point, well, Nakamura is at least getting TV time, but he's down to, Ricochet. And no disrespect to Ricochet, who does things in the ring that, very few men could do in this world. The highlight of Ricochet's career was working with Logan Paul, which I would love to see them working together again. But let's be honest, Ricochet is not Seth Rollins, so it is certainly several pegs down. But things happen later in the show that maybe a little bit more excited for Shinsuke, or encouraged that he's not going to fall into oblivion. All right, so backstage, Damian Priest is holding up JD McDonough by his neck against the wall. And Rhea Ripley, who is, I guess, now the leader of the group, which we were told there is no, but now there is. We had Rhea inform Priest that she got him and Balor a rematch for the Undisputed Tag Titles next week. So that's happening next week, guys, not at Crown Jewel. So the Judgment Day and KO and Sami, something else is going on for Crown Jewel for them, if they're going at all. They might not attend, but if they do, it's not for the tag titles. Ripley told McDonough to prove himself by taking care of McIntyre, and then Priest told McDonough that he wants him to take care of McIntyre, but part of him wants to finish him off after McIntyre breaks him in half. And then we got to a Nia Jax Raquel Rodriguez match. So Nia Jax and Raquel Rodriguez, this ended in a no contest in about 7 minutes. Good thing there's no promo from Nia, because she makes everything worse when she opens her mouth. She just... I know, Nia hater. Yeah, I am. So, not a fan. Not a fan. On a lot of levels. So, she's here, though. She's here, and she'll be used for a Jade Cargill victim. One of her first victims, I would imagine. But this match was fine. No one got hurt. That's a plus. And Raquel Rodriguez and Nia Jax work well together. It was a very power-centric match. And I like that. For all the crap I give Nia, she does bring a different flavor to the women's division and to the product as a whole, because she doesn't flip-flop and fly. Everything doesn't have to be 100 miles an hour like a Ricochet style. She does slow things down. And I like that. So that is one compliment to her. But this ended with Rhea running out and throwing Rodriguez out to the outside of the ring to end the match. And Ripley went after Jax. Rodriguez returned to the ring and roughed up Ripley. And Shayna Baszler ran in to go after. Yes, Shayna Baszler ran to go after Jax. And then Ripley was yelling at Baszler, who then put her down with a German suplex and drilled her in the face with a knee. So Ripley was not standing tall here, but Shayna Baszler at the end of the segment was. I like this. Clearly setting up, you would imagine, for a fatal 4-way for the women's championship at Crown Jewel. Also, always nice to see Shayna Baszler, the killer, in the ring, back to being who she should be. Singles role, just kicking ass. in the women's division, and I like that. So this was a segment, while I give Nia Jax crap, sometimes unfairly, she didn't ruin anything. She didn't hurt anything here. I don't mean that as in she injured anybody. I mean, she didn't hurt the segment. She did her role and did it well. And, Raquel and her have unfinished business, but now you add Rhea Ripley to the mix, and now you add another fourth member here in Shayna Baszler, who stood tall. And I think you have the makings of a fun fatal four-way, presumed, for Crown Jewel. And side note, I really like Rhea Ripley's hair. I like her growing out her hair. It's a fun look. It really is. All right. Let's keep going. We have the second hour of Raw here, and Cole stood in the ring with Jay and Cody and asked how it felt to be champions. And Jay said he's a 2-time Undisputed Tag Team Champion, and he said so excitedly that Cody's his partner. And Cole recalled Cody bringing Jay back to WWE. Well, that's actually not true. He brought him back to Raw, but sure. I know that Jay quit, whatever, but whatever. Potato. And then he noted that the champions were less than 2 months later. Cole asked Cody what defending the tag titles does to his original goal of finishing the story. Cole said everyone has watched the documentary, and added that he and Cody had long personal conversations about him finishing his story. And Cole asked if Cody was content with this and whether he's afraid of trying again because he failed the first time around. And he responded by talking about his excitement of being tag team champion and said that's great, but then pushed him to answer. And Cody didn't about this because he was interrupted, but he took a long pause. He never answered that whole finishing the story thing directly, and I think the purpose of that was to focus on the tag team championships. You don't want to focus on the Undisputed title yet, but it's also to start getting that back into the mind of fans. So to me, when Cody and Jay drop those belts, he could be the one to be drafted to SmackDown and stay on SmackDown even after losing the belts. So Cody and Jay could have swapped places. We still don't have a trade to Raw or from Raw to SmackDown yet. They keep bringing that up like every few weeks. Like, oh yeah, that's right. We have a trade that we have to complete for SmackDown. They didn't this week, but Cody could very well be the one. He could very well be the one to come to SmackDown and then eventually face Roman. Now, when he faces Roman, how he faces Roman, I mean, Anthony DeMarco and I have gone over that on our current state so many times and done so many different scenarios. You guys can go listen to our shows. I based on what they're doing here, it could be very well that Cody's the one to break the streak and end Roman's run and he becomes champion. It seems more and more likely. And this sounds crazy, but out of the two options of The Rock or Cody winning the belt, I would choose Cody. It's not one I want, but if I had to choose, Cody would make more sense. He's younger. You could build a little bit more around him. The Rock, by definition, is the antithesis of someone you'd want to win a championship at this point. So, not saying I want Cody. I'm saying if those were my only two choices. All right. So he didn't answer directly, but I think it's just a wink to the fans of, hey, this story's coming back around. Don't worry about it. Kevin and Sami then came out, though, and Zayn said he hadn't heard that song in a minute, and Zayn recalled Jimmy and Jay holding the belts longer than anyone, and basically out there to be a little friendly. Owen said he has mixed emotions. He said he's not happy to see Cody and Jay holding the tag titles and wants the belts back, and they challenged him. And Cody said, well, they're all friends here. Oh, really? So now they're friends? So now Cody's friends with Jay? What is he talking about? Mr. Peacemaker, Mr. Do What's Right, Mr. Moral Compass, Mr. Politician. Somebody kick him in the all right, I gotta censor myself. Let's move on. But Cody offered a handshake, and Zayn accepted. So this, I got to give Michael Cole credit. The last few weeks, he's been more human and less robotic as an interviewer, of like pressing the questions, being more logical, like he did with Seth Rollins and his back and why are you doing this? And this week with pushing Cody on the answering the question. Makes sense. But Cody not answering also makes sense for the time being. So, all right, Chad Gable was being chopped by Otis to get ready for his triple threat number one contender match for the Intercontinental Championship. So, we get Bronson Reed versus Ricochet versus Chad Gable in a triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship. And we did get breaking news. Though, guys, this is breaking news. Next week, Raw has its season premiere. So that means that last night was the season finale. Yeah, sure. Whatever. It's almost like WWE, because they're an episodic TV show, feels like they have to join the crowd of every October, September. Sometimes it's on September, by the way, or October. They have a season premiere. What does that even mean? There would be no difference at all if they said there was a season premiere or a season finale. There's not. They never say season finale, by the way. There's only a premiere. So every year it just keeps re-premiering, but no finale. And if there was a finale, wouldn't it be left on a massive cliffhanger? They just say it because they feel like they have to say it to join the crowd of the actual season premieres of the shows that are coming out. So, okay. So, let's go. By the way, massive NXT show tonight that's going on right now as I record this. I don't know what happened, but I'm really looking forward to Memphis Mark's review of the heavily star-studded NXT. Maybe the most star-studded NXT show of all time. And that's not hyperbole. But, all right, so the match was fun. Ricochet doing his usual inhuman things. Chad Gable at times looked like he was going to win with his stalling. I forget the name of his finish, but the stalling overhead suplex, which he does, which is absolutely awesome. But this is really to put over Bronson Reed, who ended up winning in about 9.5 minutes, and he gets a shot at the IC title next week. So, guys, on the Raw season premiere next week, we get a Bronson Reed and Gunther IC title match. Notice Gunther wasn't on Raw, I don't think. And we get a tag title match. So, hey, good stuff, right? All right, so where am I at here? We have, by the way, Bronson Reed. I don't have an issue with this. I guess they've gone with it because everyone's got to have a nickname. He's just Big Bronson Reed. Fine. I mean, it's simple. Is it a little elementary? Yeah. But he's a big dude. Makes sense. I mean, think about this. The Big Show. Think about that name. Even Paul White, who is obviously the Big Show, hated that name. And I understand why. It's an awful name. The Big Show. Like what? It ended up working. So I don't have an issue with this. It fits. And Bronson Reed had a good outing. He did. And we've been waiting for Bronson Reed to break out. He's had so many meaningless matches over the last 8 months. It's been a bit disappointing, but it feels like we possibly could be starting to see the beginnings of something with Bronson Reed. Maybe he does beat Gunther, unlikely as it is. It's possible. He is a very interesting opponent for Gunther in that Gunther has not faced someone of his caliber yet. So we will see. Okay, we got McDonough versus McIntyre, JD McDonough, and Drew beat him in 4 minutes. And, there was some offense by McDonough, but McIntyre, had to just be dominant here if he's going to face Seth Rollins for the title at Crown Jewel. So that's really what was that. And then we got the team recapping Gunther beating Tommaso Ciampa from last week. And Wade Barrett's interview with Ciampa and Gargano from earlier in the day was shown. And Ciampa said that the fans made their DIY tag team undeniable in NXT. And Gargano said they talked about what if for 7 years and how far they could take things if they teamed on Raw. Gargano said everything happens for a reason, and he thinks this is finally their moment. Barrett asked if they would team up on Raw, and before they could answer, Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci burst into the room and attacked Ciampa and Gargano. Okay. I don't have a problem with this. Also, Ludwig Kaiser had his own little promo video. so that was fun and unexpected. And Cole told Barrett that if he needed to stand his ground, if he needed to stand his ground, if he was going to stir things up during the interviews. And let's see, we got a couple more interviews with Tegan Nox, but let's just get to the Becky Lynch and Tegan Nox NXT Women's Championship match that went 14 minutes and 30 seconds. And Becky Lynch defeating Tegan Nox, and it ended with a disarmor. So Lynch applied the disarmor and got the submission victory. And then after the match, Lynch and Nox shook hands and then bumped fists. Decent match. Didn't blow anybody's socks off. And Nox was able to really showcase what she could do with a longer time, a longer number of minutes in front of the camera. So that was important. That's really what this is about. And really what the whole point of Becky winning the NXT title should have been about. Screw Natalya. I'm sorry. She has no business in the NXT Women's Championship picture, because Becky's sole purpose of going back to NXT, one of the biggest purposes, I shouldn't say the sole, but one of the biggest, was to help out new talent and bring eyeballs back to NXT. Not to help legacy, just gatekeeper talent that aren't going to go anywhere compete for the NXT Women's Championship. So this is exactly what the benefit of Becky being the NXT Women's Champion is. And so this was a win for Nox. Even though she didn't win the match, they did what they needed to do. Thumbs up. All right, let's see. Adam Pearce told Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell that Johnny Gargano was banged up. He said he was still waiting to hear on Ciampa. And then Ripley showed up and told LeRae and Hartwell to leave. Hartwell protested, but LeRae talked her down. And Ripley told Pearce she wants to get her division in order, and told Pearce to make a singles match between her and Shayna Baszler next week. There you go. I like that. All right. So we also had Chelsea Green and Piper Niven show up and talked about a pity party, and then Niven stepped up and said Natalya would have to deal with her. So Niven and Natalya look like they're also going to compete next week. So a lot of matches set for next week. That's 4 matches. I like it. All right. Actually, we have them listed here. Cody and Jay versus Damian and Finn for the Undisputed Tag Titles next week. Gunther versus Bronson Reed for the IC title. A Women's World Champion, Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler. This is apparently a non-title match. And then Ricochet versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a Falls Count Anywhere, as well as Piper Niven and Natalya. So we already have pretty much Raw laid out next week. Very rarely do they have that many matches lined up for the following week's Raw, but I'm not complaining. Okay, let's get to it here. Let's get to the tag title match. This was a long one, but one that was enjoyable. And I think it was 21 minutes and 20 seconds long, but no complaints. Fun. Again, what would you expect from these 4 men? Nothing more than a quality match. Some fun near falls. This was weird in that there was no Judgment Day interference. It was a clean finish, a solid main event. And it was also something they looked at and said, well, could this be the start of a Kevin Owens heel turn again? Kevin Owens took the pinfall. He could, say that Sami's been not focused over the last several months, focused on Jay. How many times, do I need to tell you to stay out of that and all that? You're the reason we lost the belts. And there's a lot of ways you can go if you want to turn Kevin heel. But it's one way to do it because Kevin lost clean. It's over. They're not getting another rematch. And so where do they go from here? Kevin and Sami can split without having to feud. That's a thing. That's possible. I would argue that's a better option with these two because not that they don't work great together. They do as opponents. They work very well together. But we've seen this story before. We've seen this and read this story before. And as fun as it is, it would feel a little bit of going to the well too many times. Now, I'm not going to put it past WWE to say, well, it worked again. It worked before. Let's just do it again. It was such a success. But it's just, I don't need it. What are the promos going to be? I mean, I guess if the options were Kevin and Sami have a program, or Kevin and Sami aren't on TV for 2 months, I mean, I guess I'd go with that, with the feud. But I don't know what you can do with these two as opponents that you haven't already done. And having the one turn on the other again, it's not the most exciting thing. So even though they work brilliantly together, their chemistry is off the charts. It's just, we've seen it, All right. That, I think, will do it for my Raw review, everybody. I appreciate all of your support. I appreciate all the patrons. Again, if you want an ad-free experience, you want some video a couple times a week, and you want some exclusive audio of the adult version of this show with Anthony DeMarco dropping a show every week with the After Dark WWE podcast, that's exclusive to the SmackDown tier and above. Check out WWE Podcast on Patreon, or if you want an ad-free experience, WWEpodcast.com or Apple Podcasts offers a free trial as well. That will do it for me tonight, guys. Tomorrow's the mailbag. Send in your questions, send in your voicemails, and I'll talk to you next time. All right, it's time to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's episode, happyhippo.com. So if you guys haven't checked this out, you got to go to happyhippo.com because they have some of the highest quality kratom products that I've ever come across. And if you guys aren't familiar with what kratom is, it's an herbal substance that has many different uses, everything from a balanced mind to energy. It can help you relax. And my wife and I, over the last couple of weeks, have tried out some of their products. And I have to say, it has improved her sleep specifically. She's very anxious and her mind runs at night, and it has helped her fall asleep and stay asleep. She actually was using one of the powders that comes in a pouch from Happy Hippo, and just dropped it into her water, and off she went, and she was just she was very happy. Let me just put it that way. And so myself, during the workday, if you guys didn't know, I have a big boy job. I work in contract management, and I need that balance. I need the energy during the day, and they have something called Hyper Hippo and an energy shot. Those energy shots come in those little tiny bottles. You guys are familiar with it from other brands that use that type of packaging, but there's nothing like this, all right? This energy shot, I take it, easy to take, and within minutes, I feel the effects. There's no massive crash after I take it either, which is a huge deal, right? How many energy drinks have you taken and coffee have you drank throughout the day that just leads to the massive crash? Well, this doesn't, and it's an all-natural herb. And I'm telling you right now, it will help you get through your day. It can help you relax, depending on the type of product you're looking for. Happy Hippo delivers. And guess what? Right now, if you have an order of 200 or more, you can get free next day FedEx shipping. And also, their stuff tastes great. So check out happyhippo.com. Support the WWE podcast and Happy Hippo. And do yourself a favor as well, guys. I'm telling you right now, if it can help my wife go to sleep, for somebody as anxious as she is, and as somebody that needs as much energy as I do during the day to do this podcast and to do my job during the day. And right now, you can save 15% on your entire order by using promo code WWE15. That's right, WWE15 will get you 15% off of your entire order. And starting August 28th, they are having their largest sale of the year on their Hyper Hippo product, 40% off. So you'll definitely want to check them out then. But anytime you can use WWE15 as your promo code to get 15% off your entire order. Check out happyhippo.com, whether you're trying to relax or whether you need energy or balance during the day. happyhippo.com.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.